What if your entire life was being watched? Not by a few people, but by millions. Every smile you gave, every word you spoke, every decision you made, all carefully observed, recorded, maybe even manipulated. Now, imagine if your surroundings weren't just coincidence, but part of a carefully crafted illusion. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But what if it's not entirely fiction? What if we're all part of a much bigger production than we realize? In 1998, The Truman Show hit theaters and left audiences questioning the very fabric of their realities. Jim Carrey's portrayal of Truman Burbank, a man raised from birth in a fake world, surrounded by actors, every moment of his life broadcast to the world, was powerful, unsettling, and oddly enough, a little familiar. At the time, it was dismissed by some as just a clever film. But over 2 decades later, the world we live in seems eerily similar. Let's take a moment and reflect. Social media has turned ordinary people into performers. Algorithms decide what we see, think, and believe. Surveillance cameras follow us nearly everywhere. And sometimes we catch ourselves wondering if things are just too perfectly timed, a coincidence. Or are we, in some ways, living in our own version of The Truman Show? First, let's talk about control. In The Truman Show, Christof, the mastermind behind Truman's artificial world, says something that cuts deep. We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. That one line says everything. From birth, we're placed into carefully constructed systems: school, media, culture, religion. Sure, they offer structure, but they also teach us what to believe, what to chase, and what to fear. They shape our view of the world before we even realize we have a choice. Think about your daily life, the brand of coffee you drink, the news you scroll through, the notifications you react to, the ads that seem to know exactly what you've been thinking about. None of it is random. It's designed, engineered, not just to entertain or inform, but to influence. Just like Truman, we often move through our lives unaware of how much of our environment is being curated by unseen hands. Then there's surveillance. In The Truman Show, Truman was watched 24/7 with hidden cameras. But in our world, the cameras don't need to be hidden. They're built into everything. Our phones track our steps. Our smart devices listen for commands but hear everything. Apps know what we like, what we search, even what we whisper near our screens. And the strangest part, we know. We joke about our phones listening, but deep down we understand the trade we've made: convenience for privacy, entertainment for autonomy. And somewhere along the way, we've stopped resisting. We've normalized the intrusion. Just like Truman, we live in a world that often feels real, but is subtly shaped, filtered, and controlled. The question is, are we ready to step outside that world and see what's really real? Or have we accepted the illusion as enough? Then there's the concept of performance. In the movie, Truman unknowingly performs for an audience every day. Today, we do it willingly. Instagram stories, TikTok dances, vlogs, selfies. Social media has turned daily life into a stage. We show the world our best angles, carefully filtered and edited. We crave likes, comments, and followers. And just like actors, we feel pressure to stay on all the time. But here's the twist. We're not just the performers. We're also the audience. We watch other people's lives unfold in real time, often comparing, judging, or aspiring to be like them. It creates a feedback loop where reality and performance blur, and the line between who we are and who we portray becomes dangerously thin. Let's not forget the role of media. In The Truman Show, media is used to maintain control. News stories, conversations, even the weather are scripted to keep Truman from questioning his reality. Today, the media landscape is vast, but still tightly controlled. Algorithms feed us what we're most likely to engage with, which often reinforces what we already believe. Echo chambers form. Critical thinking fades. And just like Truman, many of us live in worlds shaped by narratives we didn't create. But here's the hopeful part. Just like Truman, we have the power to wake up, to question, to explore beyond the walls we didn't even know were there. Remember the moment Truman reaches the edge of his world and finds the door? It's emotional, symbolic, and deeply inspiring, because it reminds us that even if our realities are shaped, they're not unchangeable. The first step toward freedom is awareness. When we realize that much of our thinking, our routines, our preferences, even our fears, has been shaped by outside forces, we begin to see things clearly. We start to ask deeper questions. Why do I believe this? Who profits from this belief? What alternatives am I not being shown? That moment of questioning is powerful. It gives us back our agency. It reminds us that we can choose differently. We can unplug, even briefly. We can turn down the noise, explore unfamiliar ideas, and step outside the narrow scripts we've been handed. The second step is authenticity. In today's world of curated feeds and filtered realities, simply being real is a radical act. We're constantly told to present a version of ourselves that looks perfect, sounds confident, and fits in. But what if we stopped performing? What if we showed up messy, uncertain, and real? That kind of honesty breaks the illusion. It invites others to do the same. It creates space for true connection, not just digital applause. When we choose authenticity, we shift the culture around us. We send a message that it's okay to be vulnerable, okay to not have all the answers, okay to be human. And in that honesty, there's strength. There's freedom, because awareness wakes us up, but authenticity keeps us grounded. And when we live with both, we stop being passive characters in someone else's script and start writing our own. And finally, connection. Truman's journey wouldn't have mattered without the people rooting for him, the viewers who wanted him to escape. In our lives, we need people who encourage us to think deeper, live freer, and stay true to ourselves. Find your people. Build communities where questions are welcomed, not feared. Now, here's something fascinating. After the movie came out, a real psychological condition emerged: Truman Show delusion. People believed their lives were being filmed, that they were part of a show. Some saw it as paranoia, but maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's a sign of how blurred our reality has become. And maybe it's a wake-up call. We may not live inside a giant dome, our skies aren't made of painted ceilings, but we do live in systems that watch us, influence us, and sometimes deceive us. The good news? We're not trapped. We're not powerless. We can walk through that door just like Truman did. We can choose awareness over ignorance, truth over comfort, freedom over familiarity. And once we do, a whole new world opens up. One that's raw, real, and beautifully unscripted. The next time life feels too perfect, too smooth, almost like it's been scripted, don't brush it off. Pause. Ask yourself, is this real? Sometimes what we see and experience is carefully shaped, influenced by forces we don't even notice. But the moment you start questioning, you begin waking up. We don't need a hidden director calling the shots. We don't need a set built to keep us comfortable. What we really need is truth. And truth takes courage. Courage to break out of the illusion, to face the uncertainty, and to live a life that's raw, real, and fully yours. Because this isn't just entertainment. It's your one real life. And it deserves more than just being watched. It deserves to be felt, chosen, and truly lived. So don't settle for the script someone else handed you. Write your own. Be curious. Be bold. If this documentary sparked something inside you, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We dive deep into the hidden forces shaping our world: social systems, mind control, media manipulation, everything they don't want you to question. This is your journey to awareness. Subscribe now, and let's keep rewriting the story together.